A pleasant day to everyone. I am Joseph Nathaniel Alambra from STEM 1904, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the hazard map of my community. So let's get started. This is the satellite view of my community, Barangay 449, Zone 44, Sampaloc, Manila. This is where I live for almost 18 years. According to David Garcia 2018, Barangay 449 has a score of 0.28 vulnerability score to different calamities such as landslide, earthquake, flood, tsunami, typhoon, and volcanic eruption. In this statistical analysis, we can say that Barangay 449 is a safe place in terms of natural disasters, but we must prepare for the worst to minimize the casualties when disaster occurred. This is the hazard map of Barangay 449 Zone 44 and the legends that I have used to explain the disasters in my community. The yellow symbol symbolizes earthquake hazard, the blue symbol symbolizes the flood hazard, the red symbol symbolizes the fire hazard, and the green symbol symbolizes the road hazard of my community. Now, let me discuss this hazard in my community in full details. According to PBOLX 2013, the West Valley Fault is the closest valley fault system in Barangay 449 with a distance of 8.6 kilometers. This can trigger a high-magnitude earthquake around Sampaloc area, and my whole community will be affected if there is a sudden shaking. Now, let me explain about the flood hazard in my community. These are the legends that I have chosen to further visualize the intensity of floods in my community. This is the flood hazard map of Barangay 449 Zone 44 for the last 5 years. As you can see, most of the pictures are colored yellow because our community have a higher altitude than other places, and I can say that we are not affected by different types of floods. To further visualize the flood hazard of my community, this picture shows the flood hazard map of Sampaloc for the last 5 years. As you can see, most places in Sampaloc area are not highly affected by flood. Now, let me share the road hazard in my community. This is the legend that I have used to represent the road hazard of my community. This area is located along the intersection of Fajardo Street, and this area is located along the street of Jeronimo, where the hospital ng Sampaloc is located. This picture shows the intersection in Fajardo Street where a lot of history concerning accidents because of poor traffic management and the lack of traffic light support. Also, the road intersection along the Jeronimo Street where hospital ng Sampaloc is located. It is a dangerous road because many ambulance rushes over to the hospital that can cause serious accidents. Now, let me discuss the details of the fire hazard in my community. This is the legend that I have used to represent the fire hazard of my community. This area is located along the street of Maria Cristina, and this area is located along the Carola Street. These two pictures are captured in Maria Cristina and Carola Street. They are the possible cause of fire because of its poor electric management, and if this malfunctioned, it can result to serious fire that can grow fast and obliterate my community. Now, let me discuss the evacuation area of my community. This is the evacuation area of different hazard of my community. The distance from my house to Trinidad Texan Elementary School will take 6 minutes of walk. It was considered as the evacuation area because the infrastructure is solid enough to hold up against different disasters. Last on the list, let me end the presentation by discussing the factor analysis of different hazard in my community. The first one would be earthquake hazard. Its frequency is very rare and every day there is a ground shake, but it is negligible enough to consider. Its duration is around 10 to 30 seconds with the speed onset of 15 seconds. The magnitude of earthquake is mostly around 5.0 up to 5.9 magnitude, where minor damage can occur. The probability is 100% can be felt by the whole community if the ground shaking is strong. The forewarning of earthquake. There is no forewarning that the earthquake will occur unless the cause of ground shaking is from the volcanic eruption where noticeable steaming activity and in large areas of hot ground volcanoes. About the manageability of earthquake hazard, it is easy if everyone is knowledgeable enough of the do's and don'ts before, while, and after the earthquake happened. Also, it is easy if there is only minor to moderate magnitude of ground shake. It is manageable than strong and above magnitude. The second one is the flood hazard. Its frequency is whenever there is a powerful tropical cyclone, which happen mostly 2 per month. Its duration is around 4 hours with the speed onset of 1 hour of continuous heavy rain. The intensity of flood is having a tropical cyclone of signal number 1 up to signal number 3. The probability of flood is very high, especially if we encounter a powerful tropical cyclone. The forewarning of flood: if there is a continuous heavy rain, overflowing of the nearest river, animals such as cockroaches and rats are starting to panic by roaming around their environment. About the manageability of flood, it is easy if people are knowledgeable enough of the do's and don'ts before, while, and after the flood happened. It is easy if the evacuation process is executed properly when the water reaches knee level. The third one is the road hazard. Its frequency is mostly it happens 3 times per month. Its duration is around 30 minutes with the speed onset of 5 seconds. The intensity is very high that resulted for their cars to have a serious damage, as well as their physical health. The probability of collision is around 3% because of the poor traffic management and the lack of traffic light support. About the forewarning of road hazard, if the driver is drunk and he or she navigate too fast. Also, the poor management of traffic and the lack of traffic light to guide the driver smoothly. The manageability of road hazard is easy if the drivers are responsible for following the driving protocols of our government. It can be minimized by putting a sufficient traffic lights, and the road intersection will lead by a traffic enforcer. The fourth one is the fire hazard. Its frequency is mostly 1 fire incident per 2 months. The duration is around 1 hour up to 1 hour 30 minutes with a speed onset of 1 hour. The intensity of fire is moderate, but it can obliterate many houses if the fire is fully developed. The probability is very high because the fire spread faster, especially if the fire was not taken care immediately. The forewarning of fire hazard are the old electricity accessories in the house that can trigger fire and explosion. Also, open gas tank that can trigger to explosion and obliterate many houses, and improper disposal of flammable materials. The manageability of fire hazard is easy if the firemen are alert and if they are immediate enough to take action. Moreover, it is easy if the residents practice an evacuation plan to save their lives in these circumstances. These are the references that I have utilized to successfully create this presentation. And that would be all for the presentation of hazard map of Barangay 449 Zone 44. Thank you for listening. Peace out.